It is done! We have dived the depths, at least for now, as this game has a whole bunch of DLC, which I absolutely want to check out, and we're going to be doing that in the near future. The Jungle DLC just dropped, so I'm going to wait for people to play that out. And, of course, it's Next Fest as I'm recording this. If you don't know what that is, Steam has Next Fest every 6 months or so, where all the devs who are making games that might not get the huge promotion or everything else, you know, indie games and all that kind of stuff, put their game up for demo to get feedback and things like that. There's hundreds of them, so we're not going to play them all, but we're going to have a demo day where we give like 40 minutes, an hour per game, see what we think, maybe give some feedback, and have fun. It's a big variety day, so really fun. Dave the Diver. Yes, I have concluded it. We were actually very near the end when I last recorded a video, so I'm not going to go too much more into that. Other than to say then the conclusion of the story was delightful. Absolutely delightful. My goal here, because this game is never-ending, essentially, even though I finished it now, there's a whole wealth of things to do. I haven't even upgraded the restaurant to its max rank. I haven't upgraded the farm to its full thing. The fisheries. I barely used the fisheries. Weapons. All sorts of stuff. I haven't caught the biggest fish. I haven't maximized all the recipes. I haven't unlocked all the recipes. There's another probably 20 plus hours of stuff to do in the base game, and my final playtime, I think worth coming in here for this like 10 quid game, was 25.5 hours is what I get out of it, and according to the achievements list, I've done half of them, which is probably the latter half of them is the really, really hard ones to get. So there's a lot here for your money. There's a lot. My conclusion to this is what a phenomenal, phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal game. I can't say more about it. There's no way I can dig into every single nuance of this game that I have done and not done and things I could do. I can jump in now. I actually think I'm going to make this my TV home game that I play on like GeForce Now when I want to just chill on my TV and play a video game. It's probably going to be Dave the Diver because ultimately my conclusion of this is such a fun game to play. That's it. And that's what you want. It's just fun to play. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's just fun to do all the time. And that's the highest praise I can give to any video game. It's just really fun to play. Let's talk about the story. So, for those of you who are interested in the story, which has had far more effort put into it than has any right to have for a game like this. They really cared, and they used every trick in the book to create different scenarios. There was no two encounters or moments that were the same. There weren't. From puzzles to gargantuan mecha boss fights to cinematic chase sequences to stealthing around factories and caves, they really pushed the very limits of what their style of gameplay and control could do. If you want to do a minigame at an anime concert or whatever, again, the list goes on. You should play it and find out. But the story ultimately involves the undersea people, this lost ancient civilization that had some issue with humans that we do find out about that caused them to retreat deep below the waves, very, very deep. And ultimately, throughout the story, we encounter them. An archaeologist says there's things down there that indicate these people were real. Ultimately, we meet them, we learn to communicate with them, and then we actually are graciously taken to their village where we help them out in a sort of MMO RPG style. Is we ingratiate ourselves to them, and they start to get to like, oh, we hate humans, and they're like, but Dave's okay, and that's really fun because Dave is just this chud, right? That's what Dave's supposed to be. He's just this chud who just likes eating sushi, and he's the savior of like an entire race of people, which is hilarious because there's constant earthquakes going on, and they're getting more and more intense. What we eventually come to find out is many thousands of years ago, a segment of the ancient civilization was locked away after there was a huge catastrophic event that turned them into Gaydons, something like that, where they're essentially zombified, so they were sealed away. And in order to seal them away, the king at the time built this enormous control center beneath the glaciers that was sealing it all up. And we have to go and uncover it because something's gone wrong. In the center of the ancients' village is this divine fruit tree that is the source of their life, and it's becoming poisoned, disrupted. It's heating up. It's, the glaciers are melting. And I thought, oh, we're going with like an eco angle here. The ice caps are melting. No, not like that at all, actually. It's just a pure, genuine story. This is heating up. People are getting sick. And this is going to wipe them out if we don't deal with it. So we need to unlock the control center that the king built in order to find out what the hell is happening. And so we do that. They then proceed towards the end of the game to be working through these not complex puzzles by any means. I think they did a great job here. They even utilized dual control schemes that if you've never played Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, you will not be familiar with this, but or Unravel, where you control two characters at once with the sticks in order to combine them, and each key binding gets separated. So you end up doing a big puzzle section with things like that. And it still has that moment that people will know about from the certain game where you lose control of one of the other characters and something feels lost, like with your hand. Like your muscle memory feels a little confused now because you've had single-player controls returned to you. And it has that depth of character for this little silly puzzle section that's very linear. Like, you're not going to get stuck. I don't think so. I don't think anybody would get stuck here. Well, probably somebody would, but generally speaking, you're going to be fine. And then continue through that, so we unlock these locks. And as we do that, we have a procession of just really cool boss fights that are happening, that have been awakened down there. The roots are infested with these parasites that need to be dealt with. And the roots of the tree are now becoming infected down here. This is what's heating them up. This is what's causing the problem. There's like giant blisters and things. The culmination of all this, as we get into the control center, is this story revelation of what happened between the ancients and the humans. And it's actually one of those, and I honestly think this is very poignant to things that have happened in my own life, and I see happen all the time. And that is that a very simple misunderstanding with a lack of communication is probably the most poisonous things that happens to humans in general. This is very deep, I know, but I believe this to be true. I really do. Is simple lack of communication and simple misunderstandings have snowballed so much throughout history, throughout our own lives, that have led to broken friendships, hatred, anger, furiousness, that are bridges that people can just never repair if only it had just been dealt with immediately. This would have avoided a lot of conflict and pain and misery and sadness if it had just been communicated straight away. It's like, okay, that's not what I intended, blah, 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 blah. All these kinds of things. And essentially, the ancients gave the gift of the divine fruit to the humans. But the humans didn't know what it was because they couldn't communicate with them. They didn't understand the language, and so the humans ate it, which made them sick and killed them. And therefore, the humans assumed that the ancients were trying to poison them and then retaliated and got into a war. So the ancients were confused and were like, these humans are killing us, even though we gave them a gift. They're vicious, angry animals, and we're going to retreat and hide away and then fester for, 1,000 years or whatever. This belief that the humans are just angry monsters, where the humans feel like they got attacked. They feel like they were sent this Trojan horse, essentially, to poison them and kill them. And that's the crux of what's happened here and led to this divide. And as we open up the final chamber, we end up with, I think it's a 4-phase epic boss fight with laser cannons, some swift maneuverability, some chase sequences, all kinds of things. So much effort went into this final boss fight, where essentially the culmination of this is the ancients now supporting Dave the Chud arrive like the Avengers in order to help him defeat this final menace and bring peace and prosperity and health back to their village. And they all turn up, it's like, we've got you, Dave. It's like on your left, it's that famous Endgame quote. That comes together as they all fight hand in hand to bring this down and restore peace to the world, which is what happens. And they have a lovely finale where everybody you've been dealing with throughout the course of the game, even people who've been a bit antagonistic towards you, nice and meet up at the sushi bar to have a beer, have a little chit-chat, and, sort of settle down and celebrate the fact that Dave the Diver has saved the world. And it's almost one of the jokes I thought of, or one of the funny aspects of the game at the very beginning, is Dave works harder than everybody. By far. Dave does 2 enormous dives per day, sometimes 3. He has a morning dive, an afternoon dive, and if you optionally have a nighttime dive. And then Dave has to go and work in the bar till it closes, where he's running his ass off. You have a stamina meter. He's a big guy, and he's running around doing stuff. And it's like, and then he's back at it first thing in the morning. I'm like, how is Dave doing all this? He's clearly working so much harder than everybody else. that even by proxy, he would have to be shoveling sushi into his face to maintain his girthy out exterior. But he does. And I think such a poignant ending to this game is just Dave going to bed. He gets in bed, he rubs his little toes together, he's all cozy, and he just goes, bedtime. And Dave, it's almost like Dave finally gets to rest. You can rest now, Dave. You've done your duty. But you know he's going to be back up again in the morning to go diving again. Such a determined character. Such a hero to follow along, because it doesn't matter how absurd the situation is, how ridiculous. He's going from fighting sharks and narwhals that are spining him through the chest to diving in subway wrecks, defeating giant bulldozer crabs, all sorts of stuff. And all Dave wants to do is just have some sushi. That's it. But he'll face whatever challenges head his way. What a phenomenal game. I'm really looking forward to DLC. There's a Jungle DLC. There's a Yakuza crossover DLC. There's a Godzilla DLC. Dredge DLC. There's all sorts of stuff, because clearly this is a darling of the gaming industry, and all the similar companies are like, this is just great. And I agree. I could not recommend it enough. S tier. I give this the coveted Preach Gaming S tier game award. Well, we'll come back with what we find out in these indie games. Obviously not playing them all, like I said, but I've got 5 in front of me right now. They're probably 6. We've got Dustfront RTS, which is a return to classic RTS, maybe Command & Conquer style. That sounds fun. I'm going to try out 1666 Amsterdam. Assassin's Creed witchy game. It's a bit of a high-profile game, but I'm still curious. Corsair Cove, where we get to build a pirate cove type thing. Engine Fall, which is something to do with choo-choos and trains. And Chunky Cat. Essentially, I went with whatever Steam was like. This is probably games you're going to like. All right, we'll try those out. So I'll come back to you with a whole slew of reviews then. Bye, guys.